They wrongly implicate him and his partner in an egregious plot, not knowing he is more clever than their whole institution. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. The story kicks off outside a little roadside diner where a small crowd is gathered, all staring at something wild that just went down. For guys are lying there on the ground, totally wrecked, bloody, bruised, and not moving much. The local cops from Oklahoma County show up to find this mess, and someone in the crowd pipes up, saying it was just one dude who took all four of them down in what felt like seconds. Not exactly your usual brawl. Sheriff Raymond Wood and his deputy step inside the diner to check things out and find a man sitting calmly at the counter. That man? Jack Reacher. His face is covered in blood, but he's cool as ice. Without wasting any time, Wood places him under arrest, assuming he's the one responsible for the chaos outside. But Reacher doesn't even flinch. He just looks at the sheriff and says that in about 90 seconds, the phone is going to ring. And when it does, Wood will be the one getting cuffed, not him. Sounds crazy, but right on cue, the phone rings. Wood picks it up, and everything goes sideways. Not long after, military police walk in and arrest him. Turns out he's being charged with smuggling undocumented folks on a military property and kidnapping them. Reacher was right. After that, Reacher has a conversation with Major Susan Turner, who's now in charge of the military police unit he used to be part of. They agree to meet at his old workplace because she's now taken over his old role. When they do catch up, Turner teases Reacher a bit about a dent in the office desk. Rumor has it, he smashed someone's head into it. Classic Reacher. But when he gets to the military base in D.C., expecting to see Turner again, he's met with someone else entirely, Colonel Sam Morgan. Morgan gives him some bad news. Turner's been accused of espionage and is currently locked up. He says he's stepping in temporarily while she's detained. Trying to get some clarity, Reacher talks to Sergeant Leach, who seems to think highly of Turner and hints that something fishy's going on. Then Reacher meets with Turner's lawyer, Colonel Moorcroft, who fills him in. Some sensitive files were found in Turner's house, and now people think she's been leaking military secrets. Reacher, of course, doesn't buy it for a second. He smells a setup. Moorcroft also throws a curveball his way, saying that a woman named Candace Dutton from Reacher's past is claiming he's the father of her teenage daughter, Samantha. Reacher doesn't take the paternity news too well and tells Moorcroft off, calling him a useless desk jockey who's forgotten what the uniform stands for. Later on, while Reacher's sitting in another diner, he pulls out a photo of Samantha that he must have snagged from the file. Meanwhile, a couple of shady-looking guys are watching him from a car nearby. Reacher walks straight up to them, knocks one out cold, disables their gun, and takes the guy's wallet just to send a clear message, "Stop tailing me." Then he goes to find Samantha, who's in the middle of shoplifting from Small Market. When he calls her out on it, she immediately assumes he's following her because of her mom. She's not happy about it and lashes out, especially when she mentions her mom's history working as a prostitute. She doesn't want to tell him anything and clearly doesn't want to get involved. Elsewhere, a guy known only as the Hunter has been following Reacher and snapping photos of him and Samantha in secret. Back on Reacher's end, Moorcroft has a change of heart and decides to help out. He gives Reacher a file with info on two soldiers, Sergeants Merkovich and Selly, who Turner had sent on a mission to Afghanistan. They'd been reporting in regularly, but were found dead just a couple of days ago, both killed at point-blank range. Turner was arrested shortly after that. The deeper Reacher digs, the more it points toward a shady military contractor named Parasource. He figures someone's pulling strings to isolate Turner. He tells Moorcroft to push for her release, not realizing that Moorcroft's about to pay the price. That night, the Hunter tracks down Moorcroft and beats him to death, framing Reacher for the murder. The next morning, Captain Espin, who still holds a grudge against Reacher from their military days, picks him up at Morgan's request. Reacher argues with Morgan, pointing out that Moorcroft was killed off base, so it's a civilian matter. But Morgan uses a legal loophole to reactivate Reacher's rank and pull him back into the military, arresting him under military law. Now officially back in uniform as a major, Reacher is introduced to Lieutenant Sullivan, a new lawyer assigned to defend him. He's then hauled off to the same holding facility where Turner is locked up. While being escorted, Reacher notices the same guys he fought earlier showing up at the prison. He instantly realizes they've been sent to take him and Turner out. He convinces Sullivan to bring him food and, while she's distracted, sneaks her car keys. On the way to his cell, He takes down Espin, grabs his uniform, and heads for Turner's cell. Turns out, assassins are already inside, trying to kill her. Reacher steps in just in time, takes them out, and gets Turner out of there. Their escape is anything but smooth. Military police are hot on their trail, so they ditch Sullivan's car, steal a food truck to throw people off, then switch again to a military police vehicle, which they later swap for a cab. It's a whole mess, but they manage to shake their pursuers. While on the run, Turner confesses she feels responsible for the deaths of Mirkovich and Selly. They start piecing together that Colonel Morgan might be part of this whole conspiracy, so they sneak into his place to dig for answers. There, they find the original field reports from the 2 dead sergeants, giving them more proof something sketchy is happening. But before they can do anything with that info, the hunter shows up again. Working with Morgan all along, he now turns on him. After a brutal beating with a phone, Morgan is dead, and once again, Reacher is framed for the murder. With both of them now fugitives, Reacher and Turner find some surveillance photos of Samantha. It suddenly hits them. Whoever's behind this is also targeting her. Now, it's not just about clearing Turner's name or staying alive. It's about keeping that girl safe. Reacher and Turner race over to the house where Samantha's been staying, only to find a horrific scene waiting for them. Her foster parents have been murdered, and Samantha is hiding in the kitchen, completely terrified. They immediately decide they can't leave her alone, not with killers clearly after her. They figure the best option is to take her somewhere safe, and Turner suggests her old private boarding school, thinking no one would look for Samantha there. As they're getting ready to leave, Reacher notices something that sets off alarm bells. Samantha still has her phone. Knowing full well that whoever's after them could use it to track their location, Reacher grabs it and tosses it. No point in making it easy for the bad guys to find them. While they're rushing out, Samantha swipes a backpack from a random student. At the time, no one questions it. They're more focused on escaping. Later, Reacher contacts Leach and asks him to dig into the shady military company Parasource. Not long after, he finds out Morgan's been killed. The trail leads them to a guy named Daniel Prom who lives in New Orleans. But first, they gotta figure out how to get there. Airline tickets aren't cheap and they're low on cash. That's when Samantha opens the stolen backpack and pulls out a wallet full of credit cards. Problem solved. While flying to New Orleans, Samantha opens up a bit. She tells Reacher that her dad had been in the army too, someone people thought was a hero. But she remembers him being the opposite of heroic, saying he was cruel and not someone she misses. Reacher, meanwhile, has his eye on a couple of passengers who are giving off serious hired gun vibes. When one of them heads to the bathroom, Reacher follows and silently takes him out. The second one doesn't last much longer. They land in New Orleans, but it's not exactly a warm welcome. The hunter and his team are already waiting, leading to a wild chase through the streets. Somehow, Reacher, Turner, and Samantha manage to slip away. While they're riding a bus, Reacher finally tells Samantha something heavy. He might be your dad. Samantha confesses that she was actually the one who talked her mom into filing that legal claim. Not because they were sure, but because they figured maybe they could get something out of it. Determined to dig deeper, Reacher tracks down Prom's wife. She tells him her husband's a mess, hooked on drugs, and living somewhere among the city's many homeless addicts. She gives Reacher a photo of him to help with the search. Back at their hotel, Turner spends time with Samantha, even showing her how to defend herself if someone tries to grab a gun from her. But Reacher keeps his emotional distance, unsure of what to do with the possibility that this kid might actually be his. Wanting to help, Samantha sneaks out on her own and starts asking around about where homeless veterans struggling with addiction tend to hang out. Meanwhile, Captain Espin shows up at the New Orleans airport and gets filled in by the local military police about the 2 ex-soldiers Reacher took down mid-flight. Reacher and Turner finally locate Prom in a rundown warehouse where drug use is rampant. Prom is barely holding it together, but he confirms he used to work with Parasource. He also says he saw who actually killed Sabelli and Mirkovich, and it wasn't Turner. He's the only witness who can prove she's being framed. Prom tells them that the hunter is the real killer and that Parasource is covering everything up. Turner convinces Espin to take Prom into protective custody. But just as he starts explaining everything, they're ambushed. Gunmen storm the building, leading to an intense shootout. Prom doesn't make it, but Reacher manages to save Espin and proves the attackers are on Parasource payroll. Back at Parasource, their CEO, General James Harkness, gets the news and immediately sends the hunter after Samantha. Turns out she accidentally exposed her location by ordering room service with one of the stolen credit cards. Reacher, Turner and Espen take what they learned from prom and move to intercept a shipment of weapons coming into the country. They confront Harkness and his team, accusing them of using military operations to smuggle illegal goods. Espen opens up the shipping crates, and at first glance, the weapons inside match the official cargo list. But Reacher takes a closer look at one rifle and discovers it's not just a weapon. It's packed full of uncut black opium. That's when the full picture becomes clear. Harkness was using military resources to funnel drugs into the U.S. and supplying weapons to enemy forces overseas. The two soldiers who figured it out, Sabelli and Mirkovich, were killed to keep it quiet, and Turner was blamed to cover it all up. With the evidence in front of them, Espen and his team arrest Harkness. This clears Turner's name and takes the heat off Reacher too. But things aren't over yet. At the same time, the hunter has managed to track Samantha down at the hotel. She calls Reacher as she tries to outrun the killers through the city streets. Reacher and Turner race over, trying to guess where she might be headed. Reacher puts himself in Samantha's shoes and figures out where she'd go. Turner manages to take down one of the attackers, and Reacher handles another on a rooftop. But then the hunter grabs Samantha and threatens to throw her off the edge if Reacher doesn't drop his weapon. Reacher gives in and tosses his gun away, trusting Samantha to remember what Turner taught her. She does. She uses the disarm move Turner showed her and buys Reacher just enough time to leap forward. Reacher and the hunter go at it in a brutal, no-holds-barred fight on the rooftop. It's vicious. Bones break, punches fly. Eventually, Reacher gains the upper hand and breaks the hunter's arm, leg, and finally his neck before tossing him off the roof, ending it once and for all. After the dust settles, Reacher tells Samantha he might still be her father. With Harkness out of the picture, Turner is reinstated at her job. She walks back into her old office and gets a warm welcome from her team and from Espen. Reacher tells her he'll stay in touch and heads off to meet up with Samantha and her mom, Candace, at a diner. Reacher is sure he'll recognize Candace if he sees her. He remembers everyone he's been with, or so he believes. But Samantha surprises him. Turns out Candace has been the waitress serving them coffee the whole time. Neither Reacher nor Candace recognize each other, and that's when Reacher realizes there's no way he's Samantha's biological father. Even though they aren't related by blood, there's clearly a bond between them now. Reacher and Samantha say a quiet, bittersweet goodbye. As he's walking away, he finds something in his pocket. Samantha had secretly slipped her phone into his jacket as a way of saying goodbye. Reacher gives a little smile, then sticks out his thumb and hitches a ride to the next town, back on the road like always.